Hello everyone, this is Tina from Tina's Workshop, and today I'm going to review a yarn and do a project. I found this Big Twist t-shirt yarn at Joann's. Big Twist, if you do not know, is a Joann's product, so you're only going to find it at Joann's. For years I wanted them to come out, or wanted someone coming out with the t-shirt yarn, and now it's starting to become more of a thing, and I haven't had the chance to work with it, so I decided I would try this when this one came out. And I found this, it's a pretty green. Let's see, what does it say? The color is called Chopped Herbs, but it was just a really pretty green. I love greens like this, so I decided to do this. And it is a number 6 super bulky, made with recycled materials. It's 100% recycled polyester, and they recommend a US 13 9mm knitting needle or a US M 13 9mm crochet hook. I'm going to do a crochet project because those are the things that I can do off the cuff, and I like doing that kind of stuff, and then you guys can do something similar if you want to. Something that's kind of neat I was noticing is they have a little like recommended, so they say if you want to do, and you're going by picture, there's no words there, if you're wanting to do a 60-inch by 50-inch, I guess that would be a blanket or a rug or something, you would need 4 balls, cakes, whatever you want to call this. If you want to do, it shows a small like pillow or pillowcase or something. It says 2 balls. This one is showing a round, I guess, rug or blanket or something, and I'm going to guess that is going to be like a rug size. Anyway, it says 3 balls, and then it shows hat and scarf, 2 balls. I don't know if I would like a hat and scarf made out of something like this. I mean, I like the feel of it as a t-shirt, but I don't know as far as that goes. But I think the home decor works really well with this kind. So I'm going to use the recommended hook size. So I've got a size M 9mm hook, and I'm going to make, I think I'm going to do an oval basket. So I don't think you're going to be able to pull from the center on these, because it's very hard condensed. You can't get your finger down into there, and I don't see an end in either one of those. So I think we have to work from the outside. It looks like it's tucked in right here. So here's how the yarn itself looks. And if you open it up, you can see the strip of t-shirt fabric, and it just coils up. For those of you who have made t-shirt yarn, it would probably be about the same thing, except that you're not going to have a bunch of little ties or areas that are sewn or something together. So let's see, I think I'm going to put you down on table cam so you can see what I'm doing. And if you would like to make one, you can work along with me. Okay, so if we were doing a regular circle, we would do like I've done in so many other ones where we'd do the magic ring and work around. But I want to do more of an oval shape. I could do a rectangle, and I've seen lots done in a rectangle, but I'm wanting to create the oval shape. So we are going to start with a chain, and I don't need a huge oval, so let's see. Let's do let's see, if we do 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, and I'm going to chain one more so I can work into this second one from the chain, and we're going to work, let's do 3, actually let's start off with 2. No, we're going to do 3. We're going to do 3 single crochets, and then 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and then, oops, then we're going to work 6 how many did I get in there? Pull that back out so I can see where I'm at. Okay. Let's do 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 4 in that end one. 1 in the next 2, and then 1 more in the last one, so that one ends up being 4, and then join. Oop, come on. Okay, so first opinion, it is very snug working with this size hook. But with the project that I'm making, I want a tighter weave so that it holds its shape. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working with this recommended size. If I was doing a garment or something, I might go up a hook size or 2 to give it more of a flexible, soft fabric. Okay, so let's see. Let me find a stitch marker. Since we're doing single crochet, we can just continue to work. So actually, where I just joined, I'm going to slip back out of that one. So I have both loops, and complete that as a single crochet. And I will put my stitch marker right here. And I'm going to do 2 in that first one. And 2 in the next 2. And then 1 each in the next 2. And then 2 in the next 4. Okay, I will say having to deal with this is a little bit difficult. I could try the yarn bowl, but with the way it's shaped, I just don't know if that is going to work, but we'll find out. Handy dandy yarn bowl. We'll stick it in and see how that does. Okay, where was I at? 2, 2, 2, and 2. So now we're going to have 8 on the ends and still 2 on the sides. We need 2 in the next, which will bring us back to the beginning. Okay, so there's 8 single crochet now at each end and 2 singles on the sides. So we're not increasing here, we're only increasing down here. So we're going to do our, as in your regular circular increase, your next row is going to have a 2, 1 increase. So you're going to do 2 single crochets and then 1 single crochet, but we're only going to do that in those 8 here. These are still going to be just single crochets. So I kind of have to pay attention to what we're doing, and if it makes it easier, we can mark where those ones are. So here's our 2. So if I mark that one right there, and I mark, and these are my Wonderland yarn stitch markers, you guys know I love them. Okay, and here's, so as you come around, you're working your increase, and when you get to this stitch marker, these 2 are getting worked open. You work your increase, and you know when you come to this stitch marker, these 2 are being worked with just the single. Okay, so we're starting our next row of increase. So we're going to work 2 in the first, 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and 1 in the next one. So I'm going to remove my marker. This is very thick yarn, so the marker doesn't want to come out, but at least it's all one piece, so I'm not splitting. Okay, so we're going to work 2 single crochets, replace our marker, and then 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, oh, 1 single crochet. Now that brings us to our 2 stitches on the side. So you can take this marker out, work that stitch, put the marker back in, and work your next one. Now you're on to your next set of increases. So we are starting again with 2 single crochets, and if you can't remember, the last increase we had done was 1 single crochet. So we're on to 2, and then 1 single crochet, ow, and 2 single crochets. Now where I'm really working and pushing into this, I'm noticing right here, it's actually hurting my finger right there. You can kind of see the little mark. Okay, 1 single crochet, 2, 1, 2, 1. Now that brings us back to our next marker. Put our marker back in. 1. Okay, now we're back to our increases. Yarn Bowl's doing, I love this. If you guys have not watched my video on doing the crocheted yarn bowl, it works really well, and it's holding that really well. So, okay, back to increases. Come on. 2 single crochets and 1 single crochet, and we are back to our beginning of round. Okay, so again, this is working with that size hook. It is very dense, very tight. I just showed you where my finger was hurting. I can feel it in my shoulder a little bit too, because you're really working this yarn. But it works nicely because it's just this one piece. It's not splitting. You don't have any of that kind of thing. So that's nice. A lot of times when you really start having to work yarn, you tend to split. Speaking of yarn bowl, that would probably make an amazing yarn bowl too. If I have any left over, I might have to do that. I saw someone's video the other day, and I don't remember who it was, and they were showing how to lessen these holes, and I don't know what, with their technique, I don't know if it would have worked with this or not. That's one thing that it would be nice, is to not have such big holes right there. But otherwise, I'm liking the way it's working up. I worked over my tail, so I'll be able to just clip that. Guess I could do it right now. So by the time I'm done with this, I should only have one end to weave in when I get to the very end. So now I'm just going to continue in this manner, increasing here, doing the 2 here, increasing here. And the next row is going to be a 2-2 increase. So 2 single crochets in the first, 1 single crochet in the next 2, 2 in the next, 1 in the next 2. When I get to the next row, same thing, but now it'll be a 2-3 increase, so it'll be 2 single crochets and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 and then 2. And whenever you're working a circle, that's the way you continue out, each time increasing the 1 single crochet by 1 more. So it's a 2-2, then a 2-3, 2-4, 2-5 as you keep going. So I'm going to continue to work this out till I get to my desired bottom size. Then I will start to work my sides up. So I will come back when I get to that point, and I will let you know how many increases I went out to. But these two will always be just the 2, and the increases will just be in these ends. Okay, I will be back. Okay, so at this point I have increased to 3, so a 2 single crochet and then 1 single crochet in the next 3. So that's where I'm at so far, and it is, you can see, it is very dense, which is going to be good for what I'm making, but it is tiring. It is very tiring to work with it quite that tight. I really think I should have almost gone up that extra hook size, just because it might have been a little bit easier, and I still think it probably would have stayed pretty dense, but I've gone this far. Maybe I'll go up a hook size when I start the sides and try that and just see. So I just feel like that would be a little bit more comfortable. So I'm trying to decide how big I want to do it. I mean, part of me wants to do this like really big, and another part of me, and my pain in my hand, is saying don't do it so big. I'll come back. Okay, one more round down, and I went ahead and went up a hook size, and you can't really tell that I did, and it's still, it's easier. It's especially using my furls hook that is ergonomic. It's a little less strain on my hand, but it's still very, very dense. I'll show you. So it's not really going to, I don't think it's going to change the look much, but it is making it a little bit easier, at least for me to work it. And see, I've gone down that far. Maybe I'll do one more row and then start working the sides, because I want to make sure I have enough to go up the sides. So I am now on a 2-5 increase, so 2 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Oop. It's one thing about it being so tight, you're pulling so hard, and if it slips out, in a sense, a little easier. 3. So you can see it's still very dense and tight. I mean, you can't really even tell that I had gone up a hook size here from this row to this row. Looks pretty much the same. So I think I'll finish this round and then I'll come back and show you, and I think I might work up the sides from there. Okay, so there's where I got to. And so this was a 2-5 increase, so 2 single crochet and 1 and then 5 in the next. And this is where my skein, ball, cake, whatever you want to call it, is 2. And we started out like that. So I'm thinking I should start working the sides. I would kind of like it a little bit bigger. Right now we're a little bit bigger than what this is. You know what? I think I'm gonna do one more round and see. Because I'd rather have the base a little bit bigger and the height a little bit shorter than the other way around. Okay, I think I will start up the sides from here. So I ended in a row that was a 2-6 increase, so 2 single crochet in 1 stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So I think I'll start the sides now, and now that we're doing the sides, we won't need these 2 stitch markers anymore. And this one we still need, but we don't need to pay attention to it every round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one out, because it's an easy one to slip in and out, and I'm going to replace it with this one, but I'm going to go around this stitch right here. So as we work up, we know this is where we began, because when we get to the very end, if we're off like 1 stitch, it's not going to be a big deal. We just want to make sure we're not in the middle of a row somewhere. So we want to make sure we're in that general vicinity. So now we're just going to keep working in the round, and this first row, to have a nice clean fold to your base, you're going to work in the back loop. So you see the V there? You want to work in this back loop. Well, I put a sign on the door saying I was recording, please do not knock. So instead of knocking, Amazon rang the bell. And all he needed to do was leave the package and walk away. Didn't even need to ring the bell. Sorry about that. Okay, so back to what I was saying. You can see the V here. We're going to work in the back loop, which is going to create a nice edge here. And we're just going to do that for 1 round. So we're going to work 1 single crochet in the back loop of each stitch around. So just like this, and you'll notice as I get going, it's hard when you're trying to hold it funny too, to make sure the camera can see it. See the little line this creates here that you didn't have over here? So there's going to be a little line, and that's going to help this to actually give a nice edge as you work up the sides. So I'm going to work all the way around in that back loop, and when I get back to here, then we'll just keep working in a regular stitch. Okay, I made it all the way around, so you can see that little line that has been created from working in the back loop. And right now you still have a big disc, but as soon as you get a few more rows up, it'll start to pull in, and that's when you will notice that this will create a nice little edge to the bottom of your basket. See? So now we're just going to continue to work in the round until we run out or get to the desired height that we want. And when we get up higher, I will show you how to add handles if you want to have handles in it. So I will keep working, and I will come back shortly. Okay, so I am now 3 rows up. So you can see, right? 1, 2, 3. No, I'm 4 rows up. I'm 4 rows up. So that is how it is looking. So you can see the way that edge works there. I still have this much to work with, so we should get probably, well, hopefully another 3 or 4 more rows, which will bring it up to about here. We'll see what happens. I have moved this out of here because it's so narrow, it's flipping out now, and I have it in a basket on the floor so I can pull straight up at it, and it unrolls like this then. So I'm going to continue to work up, and I will be back shortly. Okay, so I've now gone up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, and on my last row well, here, let's see. You may have noticed that my desk, I have a cutting mat on top of it. So out at the edge, there's measure. So as I worked my last row, I measured how much I had used, and it took me about 10 yards to get around one time. So then I checked how much I have left, and I should have just about enough to go around 2 more times. So on this next 2 rounds, we're going to make the handles for the sides of our basket. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So I'm at right by the beginning of round, but you can tell by your line here where the ends of the basket are, and we want our handles to be here. So I'm going to go straight out here. Okay, so I'm going to go straight out here, and I'm going to put a marker. It doesn't have to be perfect. Unless you want it to be, then you can figure that out. So we're going to go straight out here. So that way we'll have our handles on either side of our basket. And we are still going to end our round at this point. Okay? So we are going to still be working single crochets. when I get to this point, we're going to skip we'll skip 5 stitches and we'll chain 5, and then we'll work around here, we'll skip 5 stitches and we'll chain 5. So it will do 2 stitches before the marker, including the stitch the marker's in, and 2 stitches after the marker. Okay, so I'm 2 stitches before, so I'm going to chain 5. And I'm going to skip all 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And do my single crochet in that next stitch. So it'll look like this. And then I'm going to go around and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, again, I'm 2 stitches before my marker, so I'm going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into that next stitch. There's our second handle. Now we're going to be working single crochet until we get back over to the first handle. So now I am on my last row, and I've come to a point in my yarn that has a knot. And I'm worried that that knot is going to give an unsightly look. So let's see. Let's see, maybe we can get it to work under it. Let's see. Oh, if I can pull that over it. Work a couple more stitches and see how it looks. I guess that's one good thing about t-shirt yarn, you can kind of pull it over things. Because I was thinking about cutting it and weaving it in, or working over it, but then that's going to create a little bit of a bump too, so I guess that's not too bad. If you don't know it's there, maybe you won't notice it. And I know that can happen sometimes, and it's the only time it's happened through this one, so hopefully it's not something that happens in a lot of them. Okay, we are now back to the handle, and we are going to work 5 single crochet over the chain. So we're not going to go into the stitches, we're going to work over it so that it gives us a nicer handle. So one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go right into your next single crochet and continue working around. And there's how our handle looks. So it gives a nice smooth finish to our handle. Okay, so we're going to keep working single crochet over to here and do the same thing. Okay, we are back to the other handle. I'm going to work 5 single crochet over it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then right into the next stitch. There's our second handle, and now we're going to work until we get back over to where our starting point is. So if we go from this stitch marker where we had it at, and we're just going to go straight up to right here. So I'm going to work single crochet over to here, and then I will show you how to finish off. Okay, so now we're back at the beginning, and we're going to finish this off. And if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know how I like to do this. And if you haven't, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to slip stitch in that next one. And I think I'm going to do it one more time. Sometimes I'll do it once, sometimes I'll do it twice. So I'm going to do one more just to kind of bring that over a little bit. And then we're not going to finish anything else off. We're just going to pull this out, and I'm just pulling on it because I'm almost to the end of my yarn. Okay, so now we have that unfinished stitch. Let me pull you in so you can see this. So you have an unfinished stitch right there. So if you pull like this, it's unfinished. But we want to make it look as seamless as we can. So we're going to take our, well, I guess I should go ahead and trim this. It's a little bit shorter, easier to work with. We're going to go, so you can see where we are right here. We're going to go one more stitch over. We're going to put our hook through from the back, and we're going to pull that yarn through. Now there's that last loop, because you can see our yarn's coming up right here. So there's our last loop. So now we're going to put our hook up through the loop, and we're going to grab that yarn and pull it back down. So now that finishes off our little V. So now our V's, you can see, are seamless along this whole thing. So now we just need to take our tapestry needle, and you normally don't poke it through that way, but I think that yarn would have been too thick otherwise. So I'm going to come down through these right here so that it pulls it down and we don't mess any more with that top row. So we keep that as seamless as possible. And then I'll go into this one, and this is a little bit trickier because we can't split the yarn in any way, so we got to make sure and move our needle to pick up those stitches. And that one doesn't want to pick up. I think I'm gonna have to stop before that one. Okay, and we'll pull that through. This is very tight, so I do not think we're going to need to weave that back in. I think we can just leave it right there where it is, and we'll trim it off. Put the needle and the scissors away. Go back up. Okay. Shape out our basket. Take our stitch markers off that we put on for our handles, unless you want to leave the decoration. And there is our little basket complete with handles. And I had this much yarn left over. So So now we could take our little basket, and I will change the view here in just a minute, but we could, ooh, I pulled on my microphone. Hope that didn't make any weird noise for you guys. We can take our cute little basket and we could use it to store some pretty yarn in. There, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So now looking at it in that way, there's our cute little basket. I think it came out super cute. And I think it would work perfect for putting some of those yarns into displaying them. You know, we like to show off our pretty yarns. Or anything else that you might have you want to put in a nice little basket. So that's got a nice sturdy side to it. And you can see, take the yarns out, so you can see where our little ridge was. And I don't know with this yarn if blocking would make any difference, if you would actually be able to block it or not, but you can kind of shape it. So I just went and pushed around the sides and pulled it up, so that actually made it a little bit taller, so it's going up right from where that line was. So as far as the yarn, it has a nice feel. I mean, it feels like a nice soft t-shirt. There's a nice feel. You don't have to worry about the yarn splitting because it's one piece. But as far as being enjoyable to work with, even going up to the end hook, it was not enjoyable. It was so hard working it. So if you were doing something you were going to wear, then I would definitely probably go up some hook sizes so it would be a more soft, flexible fabric. But that being said, feeling this, and it's very heavy, I don't think I would want to do that. Let's see if it's what it says for weight. 131 yards, 14.1 ounces, which is 400 grams. And let's see. Okay, so in comparison, this one is 231 yards. Now this is much thinner yarn, obviously, but it's 231 yards and it's 100 grams. So that's 100 grams, and this was 400 grams. So that's like 4 skeins of yarns worth of weight. So it's a very heavy yarn. So I don't think, as far as wearing something, I would want to wear it, because it would have a lot of weight to it. And for using it for something like this, then you definitely want to still have that tighter stitch, and it's not really enjoyable to do. But if you're really wanting that finished look, then definitely use it. But it's not something that you're wanting to just do to enjoy doing it. And if you have issues with your hands when you're crocheting, I definitely wouldn't use it, because it would cause you too much pain. But otherwise, I think it came out really cute. And if you want to do something like this, but you don't want to use that, you could always do something like this. So this nice big ball of yarn, which, let's just see for the heck of it how much it weighs. This is 1 pound of yarn here. It's a big ball though. There's a lot in there. I originally made this ball. It was a much bigger ball at that time. And I made a Cookie Monster baby blanket with it. And if I remember, I will insert a picture here so you can see what it looked like. It came out really cute, but it's a very simple way to do it. and I just found blue shades that I like together, and I even have one in here that's kind of a gray brown color. But there is, and this is a great way to use your stash too. So I have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. I have 5 yarns in this that I just rolled up in a ball together. So I took 5 skeins, rolled them up together, and if you run out of one where that one ended, add in a different skein. I've done that with a number of them, and just you kind of get a very variegated as you go. But you could take this and work it with, I think I used an S when I did the baby blanket because I wanted it loose for the baby blanket, but doing it for, where did my hook go? Doing it for something like this with the basket, using an N hook will probably work. Let me see. Do a couple chains here. Yeah, this is still giving a nice tight chain like that did. I mean, you can hear my hook go through it, and even though it's still catching as it goes through, and there's the chain, it's a lot easier. It's catching in that sense, but it's a lot easier. So you could do something like this and still create a nice basket like this. You could do a round one and just work it like I did with the yarn bowl, and just make that bottom bigger and come up, and then you could put the handles on it just like we did here, and make a nice, you could make a nice big round one. You could do a square, and if you do a square, then you just do your chain, square or rectangle. If you do a square, you could start the bottom like you would a granny square, but you wouldn't do those, you would just do a solid bit, solid stitches around, and just increase in those corners. And if you do a rectangle, then you chain like we did for the oval and do the same thing, where you would just do increases in the corners, and you can work that out and then work it up. So you can use this t-shirt yarn, and I think it looks great for that type of thing. But if you don't want to have the extra stiffness, the difficulty in working it, or you just want to utilize your stash and not buy something else, then give this a try. And you can always, if you want to actually purchase yarn for it and you want this kind of look, then you could do all one color or pick your colors. But this is a fun way to use your stash. And you can do the baby blanket with it too, and do like a size S hook and work it out. You could put fringe on the end, or like I did on the Cookie Monster one, you can do pom-poms on the corners. I've actually done this type of baby blanket a few times with different colors and different techniques. But as far as the t-shirt yarn, I don't remember how much it was. Let's see. Hold on, let me see if I can figure out how much I paid for it. Okay, so I just looked it up. It's $8.99 for that cake, skein, ball, whatever you want to call it. It's $8.99 for it. It looks like 8.8. But if you get a coupon or it's on sale, I can't remember if I actually bought it when it was on sale. But anyway, so it's not a super inexpensive thing, but if you're wanting this type of look and you're wanting that, you know, a basket like that, and compared to going and buying one in the store, you're gonna be paying a lot more. So for that price, that's not bad. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure and click like and subscribe and notify and do all those YouTube-y things, because it does really help. Drop a comment, let me know if you do one or if you're planning to do one, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.